There is now a lawsuit that is a result of work that I began back in March of 2022. Robert's lawyers filed a lawsuit against the Bureau of Prisons and the blogger, and it's all over the media. On July 13th, 2022, I emailed Jennifer Bonjean all the information that I was sending to the warden at MCC and the general counsel at the U.S. Department of Justice and the BOP, Internal Affairs Department. And this is where I sent her all of my strategic investigative work on his jail records being stolen and being used. I named Larry McGee, Tasha K, Shabazz. I gave her their phone numbers. And these are the videos that I did that I also sent to the Bureau of Prisons and the Department of Justice. And that was, I sent all of the various intel. Sent that to her July 13th, 2022. This all started March of 2022 when I began investigating and doing reconnaissance to figure out why RKELLY flipped on R. Kelly. I was on the front lines of this R. Kelly story January of 2019. I was a first responder and I did interviews. The first one I did was January 20th, 2019. As a result, his fans and his supporters started swarming my social media, and I tried to coach them and help them to help Robert. I was in the middle because I knew Robert and Drea, and I wanted to find out what was going on. I saw all the laws broken, and so I strictly focused on the laws in the case. The reason I have a perspective that nobody else has is because the lawyers were not on social media. Robert has had 3 sets of lawyers since this began. In the beginning, it was Greenberg, Leonard, Anton, Steinbeck, Farinella. By the time it got to trial, only Thomas Farinella was left, and then Nicole Blank-Becker, Canick, and Scholar joined the team. That's who represented him in the New York trial. At the sentencing, he brought in a new legal team, and they're the ones that were on board from the sentencing in New York up until current. So because of the fragmentation in his legal representation, and because the lawyers were consumed with the enormity of the case, they were not aware of most things that were going on social media, and they did not have the time or the help or the finances to spend time investigating that. So it was really left up to me to take what I was seeing, what I was learning, and do my own investigations, do my own reconnaissance, talk to people, gather evidence, do the due diligence of finding evidence, finding people that would talk to me that had critical information, put the timeline together so that I could come up with a solid argument for what was taking place within the social media sector. I worked for R. Kelly as his nutritionist back in the late 90s. I then worked for Rahm Emanuel, Kanye West, Common, and others as a strategist, and I've been working as a strategist for over 20 years now. So I use my skills in that area to do reconnaissance on this case. No one knows this as well as I do because I have the background as a strategist. I've worked in Robert's home. I've been around him, his wife, his family, his camp, and I've been on the front lines of this story since it began. So 5 years of knowledge on this case. April of 2022, I began doing videos based on my investigative work. Robert did not have professional investigators. He did not have a team of people to help him because his finances were strapped. So he operated on a shoestring budget, and everybody just had to pitch in where they could. Because of my relationship with Robert and his people in his camp and his wife and children and that, I had a perspective that nobody else had because I worked in his home. So that brought me to talking to key people on social media. I put out videos. One of the first ones was a plot to lure Azriel to Vegas, waterboard her, flip her into a federal informant. I put that out April 16th, 2022. It's on my Facebook, my Instagram, and my YouTube channel, Goddess Sharon. And I put out subsequent videos talking about how she was flipped using his jail records. I then began a letter writing campaign to the wardens, to the Bureau of Prisons, and then it escalated to the Department of Justice. So I began the letter writing campaign April 26, 2022. I began a letter writing campaign and asked everybody to write letters to the warden of the prison, MCC, and the Bureau of Prisons. And then I sent emails to Robert's lawyers telling them everything that I had uncovered, and I mailed Robert letters. Robert made certain he got his lawyers to get on this. So my email to his lawyers was July 13th. I had been sending Robert letters that led to his lawyer filing a motion July 31st, 2022, after Robert insisted that she focus on what I sent him and what I sent her, and she went over it and put a motion in, but it was denied in the court. The motion was denied because prosecutors argued it was not related to the Illinois case. Robert's lawyers didn't tie it to Illinois, so it was based in New York. Therefore, the judge for Illinois denied the motion.